was your first job in film and television when you got to Los Angeles?
The first movie job I ever had was on a movie called Kiss the Girls, which was this Paramount movie I worked on in 96, summer of 96. It was between my third and fourth year of film school. And the director of that movie is Gary Fleeter, who's from my hometown, and I knew him. And he also went to Boston University, where I went to film school. So we had those two things in common. And I had gotten in touch with Gary a little bit before that. Just wrote him a letter saying I'm this young a film student, a young filmmaker from Virginia Beach and all this. And he had actually gotten back to me and been very encouraging. And he actually told me, I'm going to be making this movie, this little movie with Morgan Freeman, and would you like to work on that? So it was perfect timing because it was the summer, and I was able to work on that. It was essentially an internship for school, but it was like a real working internship because I got to see I worked on it for about 2 months, 2.5 months, and just see the whole inner workings of a movie, in a big movie too, a $35 million movie. And it was just a very cool experience. And Gary was great to give me that opportunity, and I learned a lot about, I would say, things that I think are good and also bad. In terms of the wastefulness sometimes of big studios and the sort of the standing around and not much going on, but it was just such an invaluable experience just to see how movies are made, the Paramount lot, all of that. So it was just a really cool, and I loved being on set. That was something I learned. I had made shorts and even features with my friends on video up to that point, but it was the first time I'd been on a professional movie set. And I just loved the atmosphere of the set with a bustling crew and all the things that go on. I enjoyed it a lot.
I think I rented that movie at Blockbuster. I can remember.
That was a hit movie. Yes, yeah. Morgan Freeman and Ashley Judd.
Right,
on the box.
You can see them on the side.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were both really cool. I remember I had to buy a birthday present for Morgan Freeman at one point. They said, "Go get a birthday present for Morgan Freeman." And I said, "Well, what does he like?" Well, he likes boats. He's
cool.
big on boating, so I bought him a book about boats. And the other thing I remembered about Ashley Judd, and she was pretty new back then, it was one of maybe her first big movie, is she baked brownies for the PAs.
Oh,
she was super nice. She had somebody bring ice cream down one time, like a cart, like a Haagen-Dazs cart, like just ice cream for everyone on the crew.
Oh, cool.
I mean, she was really cool. And
that's great.
I mean, frankly, it was a lot of cool people. It was a lot of cool people on the film. And it was a great introduction to LA for me because I think I'd been out here once prior to that, just visiting a friend for like a week. And every day you're going to a different location. And it was kind of funny because my dad came out here with me at first, it helped me move into this apartment. I was like renting a room in this apartment in the Valley. And he's like, well, we'll go to the location because we got the call sheet, and he's like, we'll go over to the location the day before so you know where to go and how to get there. He was just trying to help, And we did go to the location, which was a hospital, and an abandoned hospital in downtown or something. Well, that was great for the first day, or maybe the second day, but then we had a company move, and then we did another company move. So basically, I had a crash course in LA freeways and directions, and this is in 96, so, no GPS, using the Thomas Guide and the call sheets and the directions, they would give you those little maps. And sometimes I I messed up, but I always made it to set every day on time, relatively on time. Because they couldn't have started without me, but it was a real learning experience. Yeah.
How soon after that did you make a full move, or that room in that apartment was your full move?
I was just there for the summer. In fact, I should probably mention the other flip side of that. The other experience I had was I worked at Scott Free Productions, Ridley Scott's company, after Kiss the Girls. That same summer, I interned over there as a script reader for about a month and a half. And that was interesting. It was like going from the set work, every day you're at a new location, you're in the woods, you're in wherever, the beach, and then to being in an office in Beverly Hills every day, air conditioned with, Kern's Nectars up there for everybody to take. And, I have to say, nice people, really nice people. I learned a lot, but I was so much more a fan of being on set. That was something I discovered about myself that summer for sure, in terms of what direction I wanted to go in the movie business. I didn't move out here until the following summer, 97. And that was right after graduation. And I had a job lined up, literally once again got a call from another director to work on a movie, which I was fortunate to be able to do so quickly, you know. So then once I moved out here in the summer of '97, I stayed, and that's been here ever since.
I think that's such a valuable thing for people at a young age to know. Either they're not the office guy, or they're not I'm going to be out there, seat of my pants, trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah, it was just, my favorite part of filmmaking is the shoot. That's never changed, whether I was a teenager or now. And being in an office, it was interesting to read scripts, and I remember reading a lot of scripts while I was there. I read, the first time I ever read a Tarantino script on the page. First time I read a Kevin Williamson script. First time I read, I don't know. They had a bunch of interesting things over there, and things they were not necessarily the things they were making, because they weren't making as much stuff as they do now. They were making like a movie a year back then. Now they're like huge. They've got TV shows and movies running all the time. But it was just, development was not really my thing. Not because I love reading and I love writing, and I came into film as a writer, more than a director initially, but I just enjoy the set experience, this sort of adventure of being on set more.
Did you have a car when you first came to LA?
I did, yeah. I had a car. In fact, my dad and I drove cross country from Virginia.
Oh, wow.
That summer we drove. That was an adventure too, We drove cross country, kind of followed almost like the old Route 66, at least for part of it. And it took about a week, I think, for us to drive out, or maybe less than a week. It was like 4 days. But anyway, we drove out here, and I had a car. Gotta have a car, especially on Kiss the Girls. I mean, you're, one day you're driving to El Segundo, one day you're driving to Malibu, one day you're driving to, Santa Clarita.
Right. Did it almost spoil things for you? Because you know how when you have a really great first experience with something, then you think everything else like that's going to be like that. And some sets are amazing and everybody gets along and it's like a very special experience. Yeah. And then others, it's actually not that way.
Well, I have to tell you, the two movies I worked on after that were much more special experiences for me. And they were lower budget movies. They were more like in the $1 million range per movie. Because the first two films I worked on out here was a movie called Spoiler. It was a sci-fi action movie. And then the next movie was actually filmed in Romania. And that was a kid's movie, kind of a kid's horror movie. And these were, low budget films, direct-to-video movies made, mostly under one roof. Like I remember the Spoiler was filmed entirely in Burbank in this stage that used to be an old warehouse or something. And they shot 3 movies there in a row. They just switched out the walls, repainted certain parts of it. They shot 3 movies in a row. And our movie was the 3rd movie. And I remember when they had a wrap party for all 3. The producers didn't feel like springing for 3 wrap parties. So we just had one. It was a big wrap party. I met a lot of people at that wrap party. And then the one in Romania was even lower budget, and it was like the most fun I'd ever had in my life, So the big budget thing, the Paramount thing was a great learning experience, but it didn't have that sense of fun and sense of creativity. And I should also bring up, very importantly, that on Spoiler, I was able to direct second unit as a 22-year-old. Recent film school grad, I was given a designated DP, AC, and 35 millimeter Panavision camera, and I was allowed to direct second unit on this movie. So, that's something that surely wouldn't have happened on Kiss the Girls. And that was because of the director I was working with, and he was just a super nice guy, Jeff Burr, who took me under his wing and brought me onto these films. So I guess the lesson from that might be that, the lower budget movies, you learn more, you get to do more, you get to have more creative input sometimes into things. And you get to know everybody a bit more too, because there's not as many people working. There aren't maybe there's 50 people working versus 100 or 200 or something like that, So all great experiences though,
At what point did you say you were not done working on sets for other people, but you wanted to be driving your own film your own content?
You know, I never had a specific point where I stopped. In fact, the first writing directing job I got was so low paid that I didn't stop doing those set jobs. It was a movie called Scream Queen, and I was thrilled to get the opportunity to write and direct, but you know, almost immediately after that, I went back to doing, I was doing special effects assistant work and production assistant work and stuff like that. So I kept doing that. And that kind of went on a little bit like that for a year or two. But you know what's interesting about that is on those bigger films that I was PAing on or doing special effects, I met a lot of people. I met a lot of professional, good people, effects artists and, you know, camera people and all this kind of thing. So that my movies, when I started to get to direct more and more, I was able to bring them onto those films, or at least consult with them, and they would, like, say, recommend an intern who was really good or something like that. So I think that was a really good thing, and it's something that I still believe it now, that people should, who want to get in the business, and you know, everybody wants to direct, and everybody can't wait to direct, but it's really, really good to work on other positions, you know, in other departments, and learn from those departments and learn from that experience and see how sets are run and see what works and what doesn't work, what you like and don't like. And also you will meet people, and those people will be the people you work with or you call favors from when you do direct a short or a feature. So that's kind of how it happened for me.
Now, Scream Queens, I remember Rhonda Shear used to do the USA Up All Night, and
Yeah.
they would show like movies like that were just some really just fascinating.
I know a lot of the people who made those movies. I used to watch that show too.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
She was a great host.
Okay, well, the Scream Queen had this actress named Linnea Quigley.
Yes.
Who's, okay, so you know who she is. Well, she was the star of our movie. And once again, our movie wasn't really, it was a very modest film, but because I had worked on other stuff and I knew people, I was able to call in a favor, at least from a friend, and say, hey, I know you know Linnea, would you be willing to tell Linnea about this movie we're trying to make, and would she be willing to read the script? And that's how we got the script to her, and I met with her, had a great sit-down meeting with her, and you know, and she was in. It was not a huge time commitment for her, and we also sort of repaid the favor by shooting a music video for a song that she had done at the time. She had a song called This Chainsaw's Made for Cuttin'. It was sort of the Nancy Sinatra, you know, kind of like that. Mm-hmm. So we did so she acted in our movie for a couple of days. We did a music video for her, and you know, we had fun doing it. And of course, for me, it was really cool to work with her. But yeah, she was in a lot of those type of films. She is a Scream Queen. She's a major Scream Queen, and that's why she was in the movie in the first place. It was sort of a self-referencing kind of a Hollywood on Hollywood movie. You know, that was the idea with that one. So it was really cool to have her in the film. It was a good start for me.